All right then. Hey man. Hi Cav.
Hi.
Good to see you. You know, we've done a lot of videos about our scopes, but we want to do a dedicated video just talking about the reticles. So we've got all the reticles, all 4 of our traditional scopes here. We can go through those in depth. We'll have options where you can fast forward on the bottom. Hopefully we can get that figured out so you can actually skip forward if you want to look for specifically for your reticle. But we got the great and powerful Cavalier here, so he's going to help us walk through each one of our reticles, kind of help you figure out the milling on them and how they work, and then talk to us all the geeky stuff. But we'll start the EVRO 6. What you got there?
Sure. So we have the EVRO 6, second focal plane, lift lock turrets, all the old good stuff, zoom 1 to 6, and our reticle.
This is our only second focal plane scope.
The only second focal plane, and it's the only scope we have with a ballistic reticle versus a milling reticle. So when we place this on our targets at 250 yards on a 20-inch by 40-inch target, this is about what your target presentation will look like through the scope. It's second focal plane, so it'll look like this no matter what zoom power you're on. And then just for scale, we have our 100 yards. Again, this is 20-inch by 40-inch, so you're going to have a huge target presentation. If you zoom in close on a sterile background, you can see center point of the dot is your 0 point at 100.
Which means you need to zero this at 100 yards.
I recommend zeroing everything at 100 yards. The top of this circle is 200, the bottom is 300, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. This is all based off of a 16-inch barrel, 5.56 with 62 grain ammo. So basically the most common type of ammo out there. This ballistic reticle, once it's zeroed at 100, should give you your drops all the way out to 800. So it's a very fast.
And what were you saying the wind holds? Were you saying roughly about the wind you're seeing there? What are the measurements on that?
So wind holds on these dots from, come on back in, from center point of 0, I should have a pointer, from center point to the inside edge of that dark circle is 1 mil. These dots, the wind dots on the outside are a 0.5 mil subtension, so if I was going to put a 2 mil wind hold on a target, it would look about like that.
That's 2 mil to center.
To the center of the target.
Yeah.
So you can still use your wind and milling formula, and your elevation is going to be done with a ballistic drop built into the reticle.
That one is probably one of our more easy ones to talk about. So the EVRO 6 is a second focal plane reticle, which means when you zoom in, zoom out, the reticles stay the exact same size no matter what. So that's going to be the more simple one to explain. Let's get into our EVRO 12, which is our first focal plane scope.
First focal plane, again, adjustments are lift and lock. We have parallax adjustment on the left side, windage on the right, and elevation on top. Zoom power is 3 to 12. Basically,
real quick on the parallax too. So one thing that's not talked about a lot, if the reticle looks blurry or the image looks blurry, adjust your parallax. You'll be surprised how much clearer that image will get if you adjust your parallax. So make sure you always do that.
And ocular focus as well is going to give you a much clearer picture.
Absolutely.
So this is basically a full-featured scope with parallax, locking turrets, but it comes in at more of a hunting market price point at sub 500. And the reticle is super simple to use. It's a milling reticle, and I'll hold it up here so we can see it without any background. Center dot to the first hash marks that are short are 0.5 mil. The larger hash marks are 1 mil, then it goes to a smaller one that's a 0.5, and so forth. So we have 10 mils of drop, 20 mils wide, and then it goes 2 mils to the 12 o'clock of the reticle. And for scale, a 20-inch by 40-inch target at 250 yards on center would look about like that. If I wanted to shoot in high wind and I had, say, 1.5 mil of wind, that's too easy. I just move it over, and now that 0.5 mil, full mil, 1.5 mils is right in the center of the target.
So, and we keep saying it's a milling reticle, right? Can you explain how you would measure this distance with that reticle? Or
yes.
That'd be easier to do with the 20 reticle?
Well, it's super easy with this one because it's a simple reticle, but the milling formula, target size in inches times 25.4 equals target size in millimeters divided by the number of mils apparent in your scope, gives you the distance in meters. So
remember all of that.
Write all that down. That's how I got these scales, but I did it 27.7 for yards because we're civilians now. So one of the other things to talk about when you look at the adjustments on the scope, they're 10th mil adjustments. So if I move 1 mil, 2 mils, that just moved my reticle from center point to that 2 mil hash mark right there. So when you are zeroing, or if you miss a shot and you can measure that in your mils, it's very quick and easy to adjust 10th mils at a time and correct your shots.
That's why having a spotter is very important.
At 100 yards, a 20 by 40 inch target is huge. So we're going to see a much bigger target presentation. And again, this one's first focal plane, so that reticle scales when you zoom in and out.
So the EVRO series is our essential variable rifle optics. So those are going to be the ones that are kind of be what you need to really get out there to shoot and if you're going to hunt. We're moving now to our ATRO series, which stands for Advanced Tactical Rifle Optic. So much more, not complicated, much more detailed reticles with more work to be done in them. So with the ATRO 20, you have two different reticle options, or two different reticle views, I should say. You have when it's at 1 power, almost looks like a halo, real quick, fast acquisition. And then when you zoom in, you've actually got some math and some fun time built into it.
Sure. So ATRO 8, same thing, lift lock turrets, but instead of parallax, we have our illumination knob on the left side, fully illuminated reticle. And this is 1 to 8 power. The reticle's a little bit different. So we'll move over here to our ATRO 8 scale. Again, 20 by 40 inch target at 300 yards is going to look about like that. And in this reticle, unlike the ballistic reticle, we have center dot is 1 mil, or is on 100 meters at 0. The inside of the circle is 1 mil. The tip of the post is 2 mils. And then we have 3 mils, 4 mils, 5 mils, and 6 mils going down. Our wind is going to be 1/2 mil to the inside edge of the circle, full mil to the outside edge, and then we have our small and big subtensions for mil and 1/2 mil. So again, if I was shooting at 300 yards and I wanted to put a 2 mil wind hold on it, I'd be holding right on the right edge of the target. At 100 yards, zoomed all the way in, your picture's going to look about like that. You're all over the target.
So what about let's talk about the top of that the horseshoe, the reticle. What can we use that for?
So horseshoe on the reticle, the reason why that's big and bold is if I zoom out to 1 power, I don't lose all the definition of my reticle. It still stays large enough, and if it's illuminated at night, it's very easy to shoot with. So that's why on our 1 to 6 and our 1 to 8, we have a big horseshoe, and it's for scaling. So you won't see that on the EVRO 12 or the ATRO 20 either.
And then we'll get into our long range one. So the ATRO 20, the Advanced Tactical Rifle Optic, 2.5 to 20 by 50. This has all the bells and whistles that we currently offer. This is one we spend a lot of time on.
We shoot, every match I've shot for the past year has been with one of these, and it's been doing pretty well. We have 2.5 to 20 on the zoom, lift and lock turrets.
Love that sound.
Parallax and illumination, 2.5 to 20. The reticle is a mil comp reticle, and it's going to look like a Christmas tree, full mil wind and elevation holds. So the scale of this thing is center point of 0, 2/10 mil subtensions, and then the long lines are full mils. Moving down to the bottom part, these mil lines at 1 mil are 1/2 mil wide, so you can still use them for measuring. And then our cone at the top is based off of 18 inches or 36 inches, depending on whether you go center to the edge or the full width of it. So if you place this on a deer that's roughly 36 inches wide, you'll be able to do ranging with the top part of the reticle. For scale, a 1,000-yard target through the ATRO 20 will be just about 2 mils tall, and it'll look like that. At 500 yards, it should be roughly 4 mils tall and 2 mils wide. It'll look like that. And then at 200 yards,
What's that cute little symbol there?
that's a sneaky snake. At 200 yards, you're all zoomed into the target at 20 power. So it's hard to miss on a 20 by 40 inch. Now, if we talk about wind holds, You can do these very easily in 2/10 mil increments. So this would be 2/10, 6/10, full mil, 2 mils wind. If I need to correct wind and elevation, I can start using my subtensions. That's why they go out wide. And if I'm shooting with strictly holds, if I have a target at 700 yards and I'm doing a 6 mil hold with a mil of wind, my crosshairs look like that. Let's talk about shot correction and using the reticle effectively to correct shots. If I'm shooting at this target and I hit right down here and I watch my bullet splash the dirt, I was holding here, I was trying to hit the center of the target. This is where my bullet hit. I can measure that and say I am 1 mil low and I'm 2.2 mils right. So now I can just take that and send my next shot straight into the center of the target without doing any math, without knowing anything other than where that bullet hit. I can use this to measure and correct. So it's very quick and easy if you do happen to miss.
Well, the good thing about this too is you've taught me this is, no, you don't miss, which is also very irritating. But you've shown me that, you know, go into a dirt and just to really quickly zero your rifle and just shooting at a rock using this reticle, like 2 mils, 3 mils, and you're on there.
If you're off paper, when you freshly mount a scope, aim at the berm at 100 yards, and if you're 5-10 mils off, you can measure it with this reticle, dial and correct, then slip your rings, and you're ready to go to a competition.
Yeah, that's so, and you know, like we talked about, we've done a lot of videos talking about our scopes. We want to do a detailed video about the reticles, and I'm really glad, Josh, you get out here and educate us all on this, because God knows I'm a dingy when it comes to this. Dingy, eh?
Been called worse.
That's for sure. But, you know, any questions you have, please reach out to us, Accufire Tech on all the socials. Josh is there to answer questions too. And if you have any questions for us, let us know. But we look forward to doing more videos for you, and thanks for stopping by. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.